One word that is constantly talked about surrounding the Trailblazers is culture. What do they mean by culture? Well, to me, they're talking about the work environment, attitudes, behavior, work ethic, and professionalism. The Blazers excel when it comes to each one of those categories. Very few teams have what they have, and it all starts with the personality and leadership of Damian Lillard. Here's what Rodney had to say about Lillard in last night's press conference.
I think he's I don't know just the right word, but he's just like charismatic. You know what I mean? Every day he comes in to work. He never has an off day as far as his attitude. He's never leaning one way or the other. He wants to win. A lot of guys in his position care about their self first, and he always checking up on guys. I remember coming in late night shoot with my wife, and he'll be in there with Anthony. And taking him to the side. Whether him texting me after a tough game, after a good game, saying how important I am to the team. And those are things it's rare, and he's a rare leader in this league. And I think that's why, a big reason why Portland has sustained the success it has, because he's leading the way. So it's been good for me and for other guys.
Dame's value to the Blazers organization is truly priceless. No matter what anyone thinks, no matter what anybody says about him, there's no one like him in the league right now, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. The more you listen, the more you understand how important he truly is. I'm going to play another clip from Coach Stotts talking about Lillard's leadership and the culture of the Blazers from the same day.
I've been in the league a long time, and it's a players' league, and the best organizations are a reflection of the best player. And throughout my time in the league, and even before that, if you're fortunate enough to have a great leader as your best player, it just makes everything that much better for the coaches, the players, the franchise, the city, whatever. And so Dame has embodied that. He's gone through a growth from his first 3 years where he was a veteran with a veteran team. He kind of picked his spots. He took over the leadership mantle 4 years ago. But to me, his basketball talents on the court speak for themselves. But it's all the things that he was talking about. You've asked about his leadership that makes it easier for everybody, not only me, but for the other coaches, the other players, the consistency, having him talk to players about the expectations of what we do. Our culture is driven by a lot of people, but it wouldn't mean anything if Dame wasn't a big part of it. And so, like I said, a guy who is an all-NBA player and does the things that he does on the court, you can't win without that. But to have sustained success, to have the culture that we've developed, you don't have it without his ability to lead by example, to lead with his voice. Rodney mentioned about his charisma. It's not flashy charisma, but it's a respected charisma that kind of has a life of its own, and you feel it, and you know it when you see it.
So Lillard signing his 4-year contract extension was pivotal. That's the man they want as the face of the franchise. They want to keep him at all costs. Here's what Neil had to say about the contract extension.
One thing you know about Dame, he will not change. There's two things what happen when people get paid. They relax and feel like it's justified, and then they kind of go on a vacation because they feel like they did all the work to get that contract. And then there's people that spend the rest of their lives trying to live up to that contract. And I think any of us in this room that know Damian, this is just going to fuel him even further because he is one of the best players in this league. We're treating him as like he's one of the best players in this league. And we know that he takes that responsibility. I think, part of this contract isn't just about basketball. As Terry said, we wouldn't have the culture we have without him. We wouldn't have our status, among the upper echelon in the Western Conference without him. And a lot of those things are things that people don't see and they don't show up in a box score, but they're things that we see every day that would be a huge void if he wasn't with us. And when I look around at some of the other people around the league, it's irreplaceable for us to have Damian. So for all those reasons, this was an absolute no-brainer.
As you can see, they give Lillard the respect that he deserves. They show him how much he means to this organization, as they should. He's a rare breed, and I think with time he'll continue to draw more players to want to play here. Finally, to bring it all together, I'll show you what Dame had to say and give you my final thoughts.
That's important. I said, years ago that I wanted to be the best Trailblazer ever. And, I mean, if you look back at just the history of things that I've said, you'll see that I don't just say stuff just to say it. You know, I say what I mean, and I stick by it. You know, I stay by it. And obviously, if I want to be the best Trailblazer ever, that means that I would want to see my jersey retire. So going forward, I just got to continue to, you know, do what I've always done. Just keep getting better in the summer. Go hide out, come back and improve player, and just keep making sure that my team is winning. You know, doing the things I got to do to help the team. And as long as I do that, I don't see why that won't happen.
The Blazers' future is bright. They have a lot of talent. They're only going to get better. They have a great coach, a great GM, and a superstar player who is also the leader of this team, not to mention that he actually wants to retire here. So these were my takeaways from yesterday. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.